Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to today's video. Apologies, it's a bit of a late video today. Just always busy on Thursdays, so had to quickly shoot out after I was finished with trading, so couldn't do the recap straight away. But doing the recap now, early hours of the 12th, so it's actually a Friday. And sadly, we're down 65.06. Really happy with actually one trade. So there's two trades, one from a long side, one from a short side. I'll show you here actually. If I go to, you see here, lost $45 on the long, 200 shares on the short side, only lost $20. Really happy with the short trade, really unhappy with the long trade. I think I'm just going to maybe stick to shorting for now, try to nail down one key strategy because I'm really liking this shorting strategy. We've been on a bit of a bad run recently, but I'm actually more confident than ever because everything, I know right now the results haven't been the best, but the actual sort of progress I'm actually making internally and on the actual trades itself, my sort of thought process, especially on the shorting side, not on the long side. The long side was a bad trade, but the shorting side is showing a lot of promise, and I'll talk about it a bit more in the video. So FTFT was the only stock we'll talk about today. It's made a really great move from, you see, pre-market here from around the 80 cents area up to the 250. I actually wanted to buy this for a washout long when it was at the 250 area. When it pulled back, I wanted to get that squeeze up and over the 250, but it just hesitated, you see here. And what happened on the next candle, it actually washed out. So it washed out, not washed out, but it pulled back here. I definitely should have got in there for the nice break. So a little bit of FOMO that I hesitated and I missed that one. So what happens, we get the washout. I just jump in at a really stupid area of 240. No real reason. That was a really bad move. When it pulled back a bit more, added to the position. Not really a good idea. Probably have to stop this add-in and should just be cutting it off. But yeah, washed out further, and you see we just never got any bounce. On another day, this would bounce back up to the VWAP, even bounce back up, and we could sell for a small profit. But really bad entries, bad trade, and it is what it is. I know quite a few people got burnt on this washout today. So washout plays, you really got to capture the bottom and get the bounce, and I just didn't capture the bottom. I did wait for the tape to slow down, got in, but really bad overall. And the other reason it's bad, because, and I'll talk a bit more in the short, because this 273 area was acting as resistance on the daily. So it's hitting this resistance and getting rejected. So it's not really the best time to long it, because it's already really overextended and it's running into resistance. So really bad trade overall. Shouldn't have been in the trade from a long perspective, but especially given the fact that I knew this 273 was resistance and I allocated shares to short at 273. So really counterintuitive there. Really bad trade. So down 45.06 on that trade. And as I said, I allocated shares, 200 shares to short and the 273 area. So just quickly want to talk about this, because you'll see on the chart, basically all I've done is, you see how here, top of this candle here, 179. So when it opened around the 240 area. So I just wanted that. I tick this candle from the daily chart, this wick, and then you see the next area of resistance is around this 279 area. And you just look at daily history, you see here 279. It's just this 273 area is just becoming a really sort of a key area that we need it to sort of see how it reacts, whether it's going to hold or break out. But you see how it's becoming a resistance area. And then one of the key things that I really like this short in FTFT is because you just look at all the times it moves. You see it's a former runner, it's making these big moves, but what happens? They've just all got tall wicks. So this history is telling me that every time it moves, it gives back all its gains, See here, long wick, all of them are long wicks. So really confident that if history repeats itself, it's going to give back all its gains. So really strongly positive from the short. So I should never have taken the long trade. Should never have taken that long trade, but it is what it is. I will stick to just one. I think I'm just going to stick to shorting from the time being. But you see how here this 273 becomes a key area. So if we go into the stock here, and once again I've just marked out these lines. You see how this 179, 203 and 273, the same lines that I marked up on this daily chart. This top of this candle, top of this candle, and top of these candles here. You see how they just come into play today. Really, really cool. And you see here, so out of the, I think this was out of the gates. You see how it's rejected off that 273 area. It's pulled back right down to the 179. Pull back again, and then we got the retest right here. This is where I got in, and I will go into my trade zero. And sadly, it got faked out. So you see how it just kept, once it made this move up and it got rejected and it popped up, I got in, and you see how it just got rejected. But when it broke this one, I actually sold my position, got faked out, and then you see it pulled back, made another retest. This was the perfect candle to get in, because you see how it's just broken up to 285, got rejected. That's where I should have been getting in once it basically went below the 275 area. And then we see would have rode this all the way down to that $2 area, which would have been a profit, you know, of 50-60 cents. So happy with how my thought process for the trade was, and the ratio on which the profit loss ratio was good. So just show you on the chart here. You see how got in here. So what happened was it pulled up. I guess it was a tiny bit early, but it went to break 273, that key areas I pointed out on the daily chart. You see how it's just been rejected, so it got in. And there were times here I was up 15 cents or so. Could have took it for a $30 gain, but I guess I was already down $40. I think I wanted the bigger move, but overall I wanted a bigger move, because given the fact that the 273 has become resistance area, given the fact that this stock has a history of repeating itself, of giving back all its gains, and it did do it. It did do it in the end. I just wasn't around to capitalise on it. I was really, really confident, but you see how here we're just getting choppy, tug of war. Still overall happy, but happy. I think this would have been the best entry once it really confirmed it couldn't break that 273, but sadly, as you see here, got in the end I got in at 266. You see here 266 short, and I sold it as it went to break that 273. So only risking 10 cents to gain down to the $2. Almost a 7-to-1 profit loss ratio. But the plan actually worked. I just got faked out because it didn't break. It got rejected. On this is where I should have got back in. Once it made this third attempt to get in, no, sorry, not this one. This would have been an okay one, and we could have sold into a quick drop down here. But once again, I probably would have held for the $2, because definitely think that was the key area, as I mentioned, as I've shown you on this graph here. Definitely the best entry would have been this one, and it's not just hindsight saying that. It's just showing you that it can't break out. It can't break out. This would have been a very good entry to get in on. When it curled back round, it would have been difficult. Maybe we might have got faked out again, who knows. But if not, this was a key one. Once it couldn't break here, you see it's just all the volumes come down, and then it just tanked down to that $2 area. And it did rally towards the end of the in the power hour, back up to the 250. But you see, even if we actually held this to half free, which is really feasible that we could have done. Well, actually, no, not today we wouldn't have, because I was really busy. But if we did decide to hold as long, it went right back down to that 179 area, which you see here on the charts. You see how they come into play. But yeah, so really actually happy with the thought process, the planning, the strategy regarding the shorting. Really unhappy with the long side of the trade, and I'm going to stick to shorting for now. But you see exactly what I'm doing here, trying to buy off resistance, trying to ride it down to a net support level, and there were many key areas where we could have got in on this stock here, and sadly we just got faked out. If we somehow managed to hold this, I think if I had a bigger account, I would have probably held this for a maybe if I said like a 280, maybe even the fact that I'm risking 30. I'm looking to make 60 cents. So if I want to do a 2-to-1, I could risk 30 cents, which then means I could have set my stop at $3, which would have been really feasible. But I couldn't just risk it with this account right now. So, but you see here how it would have worked. So that is it, guys. we all have bad runs, definitely on a bad run right now. I'm not disheartened. I'm learning more each day. It's all a learning process. We'll see where we are by the end of the year. Give it time. And I'm actually really confident in regarding the shorting strategy. Long strategies I've still got to work on. Entries. For me personally, I just find longing more difficult. I kind of always knew I would. I just found, even when I was learning about shorting, I kind of found it a bit more easy to understand. Entry points, potential profit points. So shorting is probably going to be the way for me. But let's see how it goes. Anyway, rambled on enough. That's it, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.